Okay, morning to all. Made a mistake that the eighth Mishnah of the second parak of Pirkei Avos. So it continues. I just realized now. So we started last time that Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai said if you learned a lot of Torah, don't give yourself credit. That's why you were created. The Mishnah then continues and says, Chamisha Talmidim hayu Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai. Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai had five students, five Talmidim. So it's explained that Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai certainly had more than five Talmidim. That's what the Taisvus Yom Tov explains. However, these were the greatest of the Talmidim, of the students. These are the greatest of them. And therefore, that's why the mission refers to them of having five Talmidim. That's what the Taisvus Yom Tov explains. You actually might explain this on Mishnah Tes, the next one. So you had five Talmidim. Rabbi Eliezer ben Horkonos, that's one. Rabbi Yeshua ben Chananya, that's two. Rabbi Yeshua, the son of Chananya. Rabbi Yossi HaKohen, that's three. Rabbi Shimon ben Nesanel, that's four. Shimon the son of Nesanel. And Rabbi Eliezer ben Arach. Those are the five students that he had. Hu haya moina shivchem. He would count their praise. List, enumerate their praise. And he would say that Rabbi Eliezer ben Horkonos, he was special because he was bor sud she'inama betipa. He was like a pit or a cistern that's lined with plaster that doesn't lose a drop. Rashi explains, when something is lined with plaster, ve'ein nevalin miyamav, maimav, the water doesn't get absorbed into the walls. It's totally good. Kachulu shachach afilu davar echad mitalmuda. That means he didn't forget anything that he learned. He remembered everything. That was his praise. Rabbi Yeshua ben Chananya, Ashrei Yildasa. Now, regarding Yeshua ben Chananya, Mishnah says his mother is praiseworthy. There's a few explanations over here. Rashi explains he was an expert in all areas of Torah, and he would advise people, and he was also close to the kings. That doesn't explain the mother business, though. Rashi then continues and says, "V'ani shamati, I heard. L'fisha imo garma lo chacham. His mother caused him to be very wise, because shekol hayamim she'ibrasu imo haisa mechazeres bechol yom al kol bati midrasha shahei. The entire duration of her pregnancy, she would go every single day around all of the yeshivas in the city, places where they were learning Torah. Ve'omeres lahem, and she would tell them, "V'bakasha michem, bakshu rachamim ala ubar hazeh shiach chacham." I'm please asking for you, please pray that the fetus that is in my stomach will be wise, will be a Torah scholar. What's the Gemara in the Yerushalmi on that? It's a little bit of a different version that the Bartanura quotes. The Bartanura says, "Miyoim shenoyle lo, miyom shenoyle lo haitzia arisos mebeis hamedrash." From the day that he was born, she didn't take her out of the base medrash. Even the crib, his crib was placed in the base medrash, kedei shelo yikansu be'oznev el divrei Torah, in order that only Torah would enter into his ears. This is where internship comes from, Mahavdil. You want to be in a good environment, you know? That's where it comes from over here. The truth of the matter is, we already learned about this in the first parak on Mishnah Daled about having scholars in your house. They're going to leave a smell, so to say. It's good being in a good environment, getting dusty from their feet. We learned about that over there, as well as in the first parak of Mishnah Zion. We touched upon that over there as well. Anyways, because it was talking about a bad neighbor, you could get affected. Anyways, That's the story over there. Interesting story. Rabbi Yosi Cohen is chassid. Rabbi Yosi Cohen is pious. Rabbi Yonah explains what is a chassid. He goes beyond the letter of the law with all of his actions. Chassid. Who do we have next? Rabbi Shimon ben Nesanel Yirechet. Rabbi Shimon ben Nesanel, he feared sinning. Pretty straightforward. Rabbi Yonah explains, he made fences, precautionary measures to prevent himself, to distance himself from sinning. Very important and applicable nowadays. The Rabbi Elazar ben Aruch k'ma'ayin hamiskaber. Rabbi Elazar, the son of Aruch, is like a wellspring that just keeps getting stronger. The idea over here is, Rabbi Yonah says, he had a tremendous amount of logic, pilpul. He went back and forth, svaras, logic. He was always coming up with new insights on his own. Shemafupul harbe ubal svarim machadish dvarim ha'atzmo medaiso. Hu hayomer, he would say, Im yihiyu kol chochmei Yisrael b'kaf moiznaim. If you would put all of the Jews on a balance scale and they were all on one side, Rabbi Eliezer ben Horkanus b'kaf hashniya, and just Rabbi Eliezer ben Horkanus on the second side, machrias kulam, he would outweigh all of them. Rabbi Yonah explains this regarding knowledge, because he never forgot anything. No one knew as much as him. He never forgot one thing that he learned. Abishol Oimer Mishmo. Abishol says in his name, Imi Yakochoch Yisrael Bekaf Moaz Naim Rabbi Eliezer ben Horkanus Af Yimayim Rabbi Eliezer Bekaf Shniya Machrias Kulim. If you would have all of the Jews on one side of the scale and Rabbi Eliezer ben Horkanus would be included among them, but you put Rabbi Elazar on the second side, Rabbi Elazar would outweigh all of them. This is talking about Rabbi Eliezer ben Aruch, who was the well that kept overflowing. Rabbeinu Yonah explains, this is regarding his sharpness and his logic that he had on top of everyone else. So these Tanaim in the mission over here, meaning Abba Shaul and Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai, they're not arguing. They're just talking about different points. One is talking about knowledge, aka Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai, who said that Rabbi Eliezer ben Horkanus, he's going to outweigh everyone. He was talking about knowledge because he didn't forget anything. Whereas Abba Shaul was saying that Rabbi Elazar ben Aruch, he was the highest. He was talking about logic and sharpness. Okay, see you in the next one.